one of my biggest thrills was choreographing for the Share show, SHARE show. And that was where the movie stars get together and put on a benefit. And so I was to choreograph a flag routine for the all the movie stars. And then they did the opening. But on the program was Lionel Richie, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and Dean Martin. So that was my biggest thrill because I'm backstage with these guys.
Wow.
And it was, and it's $1,000 a plate. So it was really fun to do it.
Right.
You know? And then Dee Dee Wood is who was in charge of the whole thing, and then she used me to help assist her at the Statue of Liberty celebration. So that was fun too.
Wow.
So the Statue of Liberty was, you know, they paid for all the girls to be there for I think 10 days. Taught them a routine, and the guy that was assisting the choreographer on that, Michael Peters, he was the one who did Michael Jackson stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, who was a really strange guy.
Okay.
But anyway, so, you know, I've done all of these things, and in Japan, you know, and
well, real quick, I want to introduce everyone here. We're in the middle of talking here. We're kind of reminiscing of what she has done and how we work together. Hello, everyone. This is Ken Hayashi, the Samurai Wizard. I've got a special guest today. I've got Jan Crawford. Ms. Crawford. We had an opportunity to work together when we talking about that. But a little bit about her. She is, and she may or may not say this, but she is the greatest show producer in the world. In the world. There is nothing that could be comparing against what she has done. Now think about if you've ever gone to Las Vegas and you see a production, or Broadway, you know how big that show is, maybe 20, 30, 50 people max. And even the scale of the shows that she has assisted in producing, as well as ones that she completely produced and directed, 180 performers, bigger shows even than that, worked on the Olympics, has over 50 championship titles, had her girls compete internationally. How many girls did you say you've worked in throughout high school? Would you say 10,000? 5,000? I mean, like...
I don't know. I mean, I just never think of the past. I'm always thinking of the future.
Of the future?
Well, I mean, just when I did the Holiday Bowl, that was 250 girls that you had to choreograph for. So that was the largest that I've ever done.
Right.
So it was like I had to teach them in a couple of days, the whole halftime show, and they spent the night down there, and then we performed it at the Holiday Bowl. So that was probably in a short amount of time. But the Statue of Liberty celebration, which I worked on, an assistant choreographer, I think that had 1,000.
1,000 people that
1,000.
you coordinated?
Well, I didn't coordinate it,
Okay.
but what I did was I was assistant choreographer.
Assistant choreographer?
Dee Dee Wood is the one who choreographed it, and I assisted her in the choreography for it. So it was, you know, it was fun.
Wow, that's fantastic. So this is a person. One of the things that we talk about, samurai wizard, okay, and a lot of people think about it as, oh, that's the mythological wizard with the big old goatee and the hat. That's silly. I mean, just if you look at the definition of a wizard, it's either a person that practices magic, which happens to be me. I used to practice magic. Therefore, at the time, I was known as the samurai wizard. A person that is either a wise man, that's that category. And another one, it's a term used, okay, such as a computer whiz, right? A science whiz. So, she's definitely a genius. It's just amazing of how many people that she has inspired over the last several decades. From, if you don't know who she is, this is Jan Crawford. She, as a great show producer, her mother, Dr. Kay Crawford, which started Miss Dance Drill Team USA, had their 50-year anniversary, has created a platform where girls are women. Of course, there's some guys too as well. Actually, there's a bunch of guys now performing. Back then, it wasn't so much, but the pageant that they have, these girls have to not only dance, they have to model, they have to speak, in front of thousands and thousands of people. So it is amazing to be able to have that type of platform for these girls, these young women coming up and showing their talent at that scale and that level. So it inspires people across the country and across the world. So we're just sharing her experience and tell us when you're working on these shows, what does it feel like when you were, what was your favorite part? How about that? What's your favorite part of doing all that?
Well, you know what it is? I always tried to do something different.
Uh-huh.
It was like Alhambra, we were the first person to ever use guys in any kind of show in high school. And so that's what started it.
Uh-huh.
So the first time I had them come out, they didn't do anything. And they just came out, and I had them in skimpy outfits and bring in the girls. And the crowd went crazy because they'd never seen guys in a drill team setting.
Right.
And then it just bloomed from there. So everybody wanted to see.
What year was that when you started that?
84.
84, okay.
Yeah, I think it was 84.
84?
Somewhere close by.
Right.
Yeah, and it was the first time. So then it just flourished. But I always like to do something different.
Uh-huh.
That's why when I met you, this was something different. It was like, it was magical. It was like I was putting all this together and then you showed up. And it was like, you're the icing on the cake.
Okay.
You know, and so it was really great. But I have to keep challenging myself because if you don't keep challenging yourself, you die. So you have to always keep challenging. So I'd always create something new. I'd never like to go back and do the same thing. It was trying to do something that somebody else hasn't done with the budget that I have, with the talent that I have,
yes.
with the time.
Because the guys aren't professional dancers, and the girls, no one's a professional dancer.
No, nobody even. I had to use football players, basketball players, boyfriends. You know, you hung around at the door so much. I had to use you. Get in here. Let's put you together.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what happened. I would just say, "Come on, let's go." So. Anyway, and that's what made it so fun, is that to see these people, to have a new experience, and to do something they've never done before. And everybody was in awe when you showed up because I'd heard about you. Okay. And this is what was so funny, because I had your sister in class. Okay. And then I met your mom, who is a powerful woman. Yeah. Holy crap. I have never met such a powerful woman out of any of my students. Really? You could tell right away that woman had charisma, power, beauty, intelligence, creativity, and a helping hand. And it was like, where did you come from? Oh, wow. It was like, if I needed to, she would come up with, I'm going to help you raise some money. We're going to do this and this and this and this. Right. And it was like, you were so much like her, because you both have that thought process going on, which is seeing what is new around the corner. And and it was great. So when I met you, it was like, oh my God, now I know why you are the way you are, because your mom. It was just meant to be. I can see that she imparted so much of her gifts to you.
Oh, thank you.
So so that's why it was so wonderful. So I met your daughter, not your daughter, what am I talking about?
Her daughter, my sister.
I know, I met her daughter, your sister, and then they told me about you, and I go, magic, wow, what is that about, And when I met you, I know you did a performance on high school stage, and everybody was talking about it, because nobody had ever done it. Right. I mean, who in high school was doing magic? Nobody. And they were all talking about it, and then I started thinking.
Now we're talking about the dancers I got to work with, right?
Oh, no, you did it on stage. I don't know if you did it with the dancers or not.
Yes, at the time I worked with Denise Windscheffel, Gladys Hernandez. I don't know if she was captain at the time. She was. Oh, she was. Then she became. She was captain. Then Kim Lim. Yeah. Became the
all great girls.
Yeah, all great girls.
Great dancers. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have gotten any better dancers, because these girls were hot dancers. Beautiful girls. Yes. And I mean, gosh, and they really admired you. So,
I didn't know, they just showed up. I didn't actually personally ask any, except for Gladys. I asked, hey Gladys, I'm thinking
she has friends.
Yes. And she brought 3 beautiful,
I know.
talented girls. Linda De Silva, I want to make sure I mention her name too. Linda, I know she's going to be like, did you mention my name? Yes, Linda De Silva. They showed up at my house for rehearsal.
Oh my God. Well, you couldn't have gotten any better because they're training every day with me, trying to be good to end. They have youth and they're beautiful. And, and then all of a sudden they tell me, yeah, we're doing a performance. And I went, what?
Right.
It was so much fun. Everything was very magical back then. And as I say, the show that you did,
Well, let's start with the jungle one.
Okay.
The jungle one. So.
The jungle one's actually second.
We got second.
No, but I know, I don't know if we got second or not. But
that was the first. That was the first one we did.
Are you?
Yes. That was in '91 because we lost. We had a standing ovation, and anybody watching this video, I'm going to put the links to these videos so you could see what we're talking about. It is very crucial. You go take a look at this video.
Well, these were all non-dancers.
They were non-dancers.
All the guys were non-dancers.
Non-dancers doing African dancing like this.
Yeah.
Because there was a song in there from Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall. That was real popular, and you already had your heart set at the time. But when I came into the picture that you were going to do a jungle routine.
Oh yeah.
A theme. So I had come up with an idea because I was already doing illusions at the time. Making cats turn into Denise and stuff like that. That's what I was doing. So I thought, okay, well, that's going to be too small for a large audience like that. So how can we make it bigger? And I thought of the idea, why don't we have a transformation in the middle of the stage or somewhere like that where we can take a gorilla, turn it into Tarzan. And then Tarzan and Jane turned back into a gorilla, and then my sister was the witch doctor, like that.
Oh yeah.
Doing that, and I had done the illusion design, some of the set design, and obviously we're working with Alhambra, the stage crew as well.
Well, yeah, it was the stage crew. You had that center one trying to make the trap doors.
The trap door.
And then.
No trap doors. We're not supposed to reveal secret.
Oh well, it's everybody on there. Yeah, it was the trap.
Door.
I still have those monkey outfits.
Really? Well, you still have?
I still have the monkey outfits.
Oh wow!
Can you believe that? Yeah. So I know, and the scary part was I was supposed to get bamboo delivered, and it didn't get delivered until the day beforehand. And I was freaking out because I went, the whole show is ruined, absolutely ruined, because I don't have any bamboo to cover the huts.
Right.
So every time you're doing this, anything can go wrong because this isn't pro. These are kids.
Right.
These are, I'm having to stay up all night and do all of this stuff.
Right.
And so that show, I don't even know if you know it, it almost didn't go on because the bamboo wasn't delivered in time.
Oh. Wow.
And so I had to put all this bamboo on the huts because people change in the huts, and so that's what it was. But anyway, yours was the center of the stage was the focal point where all these transitions would happen.
Right.
And then we had everything else going around there. And so
got a standing ovation.
Oh, I don't.
We got a standing ovation against Texas. Texas did not get a standing ovation. Not taking away anything from them. They had a tap dancing routine. Fine, they won. And
But you know something? I don't even look. Isn't that funny? I don't even remember whether we won or not because I didn't care because I really enjoyed the routine.
I love the routine. Everyone was like, "Well, you should have won." I go, I know.
I know, but it's just the whole idea of it and everything. It was fantastic. But like I said, I don't even remember whether I won or it didn't matter.
What it did to me.
You got inspired.
I got frustrated. I went, "Are you kidding me? We did this?" Or, Miss Crawford did this. We have magic going on. We have comedy in there.
Yes, there was comedy.
We got guys. It's not just a, one level show. And I'm thinking, what? We lost? I couldn't believe it. And it was just like, okay.
Oh, but I could. Did you see the parents, all the parent help they had? Everything was in its order and pristine. But you know what it was? Massive amounts of people all doing the same thing.
Yes, and there was a mirror behind it when they were
so it looks very.
It almost it doubled their feet.
Yeah.
So it looked like there were hundreds
You
of
never
tap
see that.
dancers.
It's hard to compete with Texas when it's like when you do high kick numbers. You do a high kick number with 30 people, it doesn't matter what you do. You bring in 85 people and they do a simple routine, but it looks impressive. So that's why probably the next year I had 180.
Yes, yeah. So
I said numbers.
I was very frustrated. I'm going, oh my gosh, how can we beat them? The competitiveness came in
Yeah.
and I'm going, wow, I want to beat them. Like that's like what is it that we can do? I had actually come up with so many ideas. One thing we never ended up doing was I wanted to build a samurai in the middle. I don't know if you remember this, but I wanted to build a samurai in the middle, one at a time, putting armor down with the helmet and everything. We never did it because there wasn't enough time.
Nothing is time. Because you do other things too.
Yeah, you had to, like, you only gave like 20 seconds or something. I go, we have to build it and turn it around and it was going to animate and start coming out.
Yeah.
That's what I originally had designed. It didn't work, so I thought of a different thing of like, okay, well, maybe I can do, not me, I wasn't even thinking me, I was thinking someone else would do something, and then at the very last minute, he goes, why don't you just do it?
Yeah.
Because the Tarzan and Jane one the year before, I trained other performers to do the illusions. I had to train people to be able to transform themselves into Tarzan and Jane and back, and the witch doctor and all. I had to do that. This time around, it's like, okay, I was planning on training people, but it was like there was not enough time, so you said, just
do it.
Just do it. I said, okay, sure, and I like wrote it in my schedule. Like, when do I have to show up? You know, like.
I know. It's like you're on. Okay.
Okay. What's my routine?
No. Well, I was dealing with so many things because we had those throws that were very expensive, and that was going to be the end of the show. And then, thank God, you had another connection that we could use it again in the spring show.
The spring show, right?
But the sets were so good that year. So good that year. As a matter of fact, it's so funny because I went into Lanny Watkins' office and he kept my set.
Wow.
You know, one of the stuff. I mean, they were done so well. All the sets were done well. The costumes were done well.
I worked with Lanny and those Akemi and Art Santa Maria on some of the designs, because it's Japanese. You know, we wanted the Fuji, the mountain at the very beginning, and obviously the temple and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is a no budget that, you know, slapped together that just comes together. You know what I mean? All the girls had to make their own costumes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Right. If you're on the team, you better have a seamstress that you can contact, because we get the pieces, they cut the pieces out, and then we give them to the girls and they sew them. And so everything is done at a high school level, which doesn't have a budget. So this is what happens when you have no budget, but you have people that are willing, you know, and we create something that is fun and entertaining. But I remember all those people. Wow, it was some great stuff back then.
Yeah. That show, if you see, of course, check it out. Don't take our word for it. Actually check it out. It's on, I'll put a link down, Commanding the Japanese Army. That show, actually, specifically, I remember, I went to years later, and this story all begins because when my twin daughters, Alexis and Ashley, started high school, they were freshmen, and they said, "Daddy, what's high school like?" And I hadn't talked about my high school years ever, really, to my kids.
Yeah.
So I really had to think, and I started explaining what my high school experience was like, and therefore, as you know, Hayashi has written the book about my experience in high school. Well, they initially in freshman year started dance with a dance instructor, relatively new at the time. He'd been only doing it about 4 years at that school, Marquette High School, Activate Royal, right? So when I had saw their small production that year, just at the high school, I said, "Oh, do you know the Crawfords?" And she goes, "Oh, yes, you know, obviously." So I go, you know, I worked with Jan Crawford? And he goes, oh, really? Which one? Which show? Because I know them all. That's what he said. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, have you seen the Japanese one? He goes, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, that put it on the map. That changed my life. Huh. And I'm like, oh really? Yeah, because I worked on that one in the jungle routine. He goes, oh, the jungle routine, oh my gosh, that was what he said. And he had never produced a show performance before. He had never done that. That year, of course, I sent him the video. He's seen it before, but I didn't know how he got access to all the tapes or something. But he had seen them before, whether they were live or video cassettes. But I had them on VHS cassette tapes. Like they have that copyright stuff, so I couldn't burn them on DVDs. They're actually that recording is actually a copy of a copy.
Copy of a copy.
Copy of a copy. Just I put it up. So I sent it to him just so he could recall that. That's what I had worked on. And then Alexis and Ashley segment choreographed that. They didn't choreograph the whole thing. They choreographed a section of it. You were there on the 50th anniversary.
Yes, I was.
Right?
I had to come back and see. That's hard to believe, but I've been 50 years.
Yeah.
I remember. Well, I actually.
Well, we were there 25 years ago.
Yeah, but I was there 50 years ago.
Oh, you were there 50 years ago.
Well,
Wow.
I won it in 70. Miss Drill Team USA in 1970.
The first year it was out?
No, it was out in 68.
68.
I think it was 68. Yeah, and I won it in 1970.
1970.
Yeah.
You won it.
I won the solo part.
Now, I want to ask you, and I've heard this for 25 years, but I didn't know if this is true, and you can just tell us if it is. In the Miss Dance Drill Team USA logo, there's a girl.
The old logo.
The old logo.
Yeah, it was done down here in Santa Monica. It was on the very first issue of Let's Cheer magazine. I was in the water.
That is you.
That was me, and I was in the water doing that, and they just took the silhouette and made it.
That is you.
That was me.
I confirmed it. I heard rumors that's really Miss Jan Crawford, and I'm going, really? I wanted to ask you. We got that on camera. That's her. That's her. So.
But I mean, the thing is, there's a picture of it. There's actually a picture of it that I at the beach in Santa Monica in the water, and there's a guy behind me with the tuba. One of the band guys, but I'm in the water with my boots. You know what I mean? And I'm kicking, splashing.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? So
and that's a picture of you. Okay.
Yeah. So that's right.
That is right. Okay. So what had happened was they Activate Arroyo had done the Alice in Wonderland production, which was 120.
Yeah.
And he was like telling me afterwards, like, oh my gosh, the brain activity to create something like that is just, he had to take a break too. So.
But it's, you know what it is? It's not so much that, but you've got your military routine, your dance routines, you have this, you have that. And it depends on how many people are helping you, or how many people are assisting you.
Right.
So you talk about, like Texas, they come with 20 dads all in T-shirts.
Right.
They're bringing it out on the floor.
Right.
Where I have to rehearse my kids bringing things out on the floor.
Right.
And so there's a lot more that's going on that a director has to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? All these things. I can't tell you how many times I got costumes at the event. The guy finished the costumes.
Right.
At the event. At the event. We were going to be on in an hour, and I'm out there going, oh, maybe it'll go on, maybe it won't.
Right.
Because he didn't finish them. Because for some key parts, because for the whole group it's one thing, but then for these key parts, like your costume or somebody else who's special, like when I did an Aladdin show, somebody who's special, and the guards and everybody else, if there was just like 10 of them. But you got to do it with them. You know what I mean? You can't go on without them, because then it's not a show. Or I remember we did a tap dance number one time, and the floor split. Because we have to bring out and lay down a floor.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah, so I had to go through a lot of stuff, to, find out what would work and what wouldn't work. But it's a lot, 180 people. Just, I go down there with 180 people, and it's just me.
Yes.
You know, and they're high school kids.
Well,
And you never know.
I actually, during the jungle routine, because I had worked with the set design and stuff like that, and I knew the transitions, I was in the back. That one, I forgot how many, like we only had one, how long do we have to set up?
You have, in show, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. And I remember you had everybody wear plastic trash bags
Yeah.
to hide
The costume.
the costume, so it could be a surprise, right?
Because I rolled down a floor, and
Yeah.
then you had to bring in the huts.
Right.
You know, that one didn't have the elaborate background that some of them, the other ones had, because they were huts. You know what I mean?
Right,
They
right.
weren't, it was just a place to change costume. But some of the other ones, you have no idea what you have to go through
Right.
to assemble it once you get in there, because you only have so much time.
Yes.
So, yeah, you know, sometimes the sets are easy to assemble, but the floor is really tough, because I had to lay down the floor, I had to do all this, and you get penalized. We got penalized, you know. I remember the very first routine I ever did. I had to have it recorded, and the guy didn't put the second song on. There was 2 songs.
Oh.
And the girls all held the pose, and I went, oh my God, he didn't record the second song. So I had to go down there, give them the music for them to finish the routine, but we got disqualified. You know, we won and got disqualified, you know. So that happens before. We did a ladder routine. I don't know if you remember.
No, I didn't see that one, no.
The ladder routine, I asked the girls. I said, well, this is how I finally evolved. I says, I can create a really good ladder routine, but you're going to be disqualified until you get to Miss Drill Team USA. So you can go and compete it, and every time we compete it, you're going to be disqualified because you're going to do all the stuff that isn't legal.
Right.
I says, so we have a choice here. We can go to Miss Drill Team and do it, or we can go to all these other events and do it, and you won't win. And they chose to do that. So we went to Wilson, and everybody loved the routine. Disqualification.
Who cares?
I know.
Who cares?
I finally got to that point that I went, it's not about the win. It's about having fun.
Right.
And so we had girls doing toe touches off the ladders. It was another really great routine. But it wasn't, you know, like I've been disqualified in some of these show routines. We went over, or scratched the floor, or, you know, something like that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It freaked me out, you know, so
Right.
that I would going, oh, no. But that's part of that's showbiz.
Right.
It's just showbiz. And it's so nice to have, you know, every year something's different. And you know what the sad part is? You finally get the group together and then they leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you come and then, I can't use you again. You're out of high school. You know what I mean? Goodbye, see you later. Because you can't possibly teach anybody anything because you're a master. You know what I mean? It would take them too long. And magic is not just something you can just, oh, I'll show you like a dance step.
Right.
It's something you have to practice and you have to have the desire.
Right.
So you are so unique. I never had anybody who was into magic before you or after you.
Oh,
Nobody.
Right.
Not anybody who would attempt it, nothing.
Right.
And then to have you who were using high school kids and you're in high school and then you're going to the Magic Castle. When they told me, oh, we got to go because we got to go to the Magic Castle tonight. I went, what?
Oh.
I go, this is, you know, I've been there, you know, one time, but I mean, this is big time. And you're using high school kids and a high school samurai genius here, you know, to go perform there. It was like, what are these guys doing?
Right.
That's why I've never understood why you stopped.
Oh, right.
And I just went, when I found out later on that you had stopped, I just went, how? Why?
Yes.
You were so ahead of your game.
Thank you.
You were so, but you know something? Your mind just goes on to something else. It's like whatever you put your mind to, you are going to succeed. And it's just like a new thrill, a new this.
Right.
It's like I got tired of always doing pom-pom routines. Because but that's kind of like a training one. Because after a while you just go, okay, whatever. I needed stimulus, so I can recognize that in you. You like to do things that are different.
Yes.
And,
Well, a couple of things that people didn't know about me. Now, we kept in touch. I had an interview with a good friend of mine,
mhm.
which was a Michael Jackson dancer. When he was, I was going to, I actually was going to 5 separate schools simultaneously. I don't know if I shared that with you.
No, when I knew you, I just went, well, where is he? He's here, okay.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't know anything about your personal life.
Personal life.
Yeah.
So nobody really. So at the time, you didn't know anything about me.
No.
Since then, I've shared because we've kept in touch, especially as I've gone through this journey. The last year of finally revealing what had happened back when I was in high school. But most people didn't know what was going on with me. You knew me from Alhambra. Well,
Yeah.
a person that I went to high school with, one of my best friends, which was Courtney Miller, I just did an interview with him, Michael Jackson backup dancer. He didn't know anything about me either. Like, nobody knew that I was also working with Alhambra for that big show. You would think I would talk about it, but I never did.
You moved on.
I moved on. I was performed with Denise and Kim at 2 separate Emmy Awards. And I
Yeah.
introduced the host of the show. Now, you know that now, but you didn't
Yeah.
know that then.
No.
No, that
It's like, what are you doing?
what am I doing?
It's like nobody in high school, keeping up with your grades
Right.
is one thing.
And my grades are good. My grades are good. I got an A in physics, by the way. So your
I'm
parents
impressed.
watching saying, yeah, but his grade's good. I got an A in physics, and I got to Oxford. I could have gone to Harvard, or I didn't want to go to Harvard. But anyways, but I got into Oxford. I went to Oxford instead. But yes, I was.
This is like unheard of. So every time the girls came back and told me something, it was like, what? This is like, a lot of people talk. A lot of people dream.
Yes.
You act.
Yeah, I'm actually doing it, right?
You do it, and I
Right.
can relate to that. Because there's some people, I'm going to,
I'm going to, right.
No, you don't talk about what you're going to do. You do it and then have other people talk about what you did.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I'm
Yeah.
glad they told someone because I never talked back then.
No.
I've learned to talk since. Because
Yeah.
I've became one of the volunteers things that I used to do because I love giving back, and it was for the passion was I used to teach 150 kids karate on Saturdays as a volunteer father.
Yeah.
Because my kids are in karate, and going from a martial artist where you don't talk like a dancer, you
Yeah.
don't talk.
No.
To when you
Count to
become
8.
Yeah, once you become an instructor, you have to
Yeah.
learn to talk. So I had to learn to speak, to an audience. I'm not
Yeah.
I don't back then. If you see my acts, none of it I'm speaking. It was my mind and creation of all this stuff.
Yeah.
So since then I've learned to talk. But yeah, back then I never talked. No one really heard me speak, and there's a reason for that. People think that they heard me talk, but I really didn't. I have an ability that, it's been 25 years, so I'm just letting the cat out of the bag now. And I don't want to take this conversation too off the tangent, but some people, they're coming out of the closet, right? They're saying I'm gay. Or the things that are going on in the media now about, hey, I got sexually harassed when I was trying to get into XYZ movies or something, the women that have been done that. Well, there's something I'm coming out of the closet, whatever you call it, now. And the question is, how was it possible, if I don't speak, how did I win Best Actor Award at the #1 high school for dramatic arts in the world? How did I, as a team, win Miss Dance Drill Team USA as a team, 108 people? I also led a football team. That was the football players. I led a cheerleading team, right? I also written an off-Broadway play, right? You saw the promo on that one, right? Written an off-Broadway play, which was written about my high school life, starring Daniel Day Kim. Got into Oxford, and I also did a little bit of magic. Just a little bit of magic. I beat David Copperfield, so I think I did a little bit of magic. I made a Corvette appear on stage. I performed at the Emmy Awards. I also produced and directed the Emmy Awards, and that one I did have to speak on the microphone and address the people at the Emmy Awards. That's what I had to do. And the question was, how did I do that?
Talk about focused.
Right, the question, and I had given this.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. people may, if you're watching along to this point, how did I do that? Was I A, lucky? B, am I stupid? Because a lot of people, they say, oh, that's stupid. Okay. C, I am talented. D, I am smart. Or E, I'm a wizard. What would be your answer?
Well, you know something? I don't know.
I
really don't know, because I wasn't around when you were doing
You
all of those things.
No, you
know what I
weren't
mean?
there right there, but I was with
I
you.
can only see you as the way I perceived you to
Right,
be.
okay.
And I think that, I know how hard it is to balance.
Okay.
That's what I know. I know that's many different directions. Anybody can go in one direction full blast, but to go in this direction and this direction and this direction, and to be successful at it is a gift, because it requires talent and focus, in my perspective, because that's all I have experienced.
Yes.
So if you have something special that you have that enables you to do all of this, I'm not privy to it.
Okay.
So, but if because I wasn't around,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right,
To see
right.
you play football, to see you do cheerleading, to see you do any of this stuff. All I can say is, in my arena, what I have seen, and just that alone, that accomplishment alone of what you did in high school, being up there just at the Magic Club, that alone is phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just that alone. So if you have, I don't know what degrees.
And then what she meant was I was closing the show at the Magic Castle.
Yeah.
Which is, I could have mentioned that. I had done other stuff too, but those are the main titles that I have.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is just, somebody who's so focused and driven, just to accomplish that. So I don't know how you managed to do everything else, or to what extent.
Uh-huh.
And only you, I know you were dabbling in, you may have a special gift.
Right. So this is the thing I wanted to share. So many people, if they think it's lucky, we already talked about that on our other videos. Lucky,
That's not luck.
That's not luck, okay? And if you're thinking it's stupid, you're probably a naysayer. So let's just throw that out. So talented and smart is probably mostly what we get.
Yeah.
Thank you very much if you're saying I'm talented. That's great. I worked with a lot of talented people. I wouldn't say I'm talented. If you're asking me, I'm not saying I'm talented. I am pretty smart. I do understand math, stuff like that, but I work with really smart kids too, but that's not what it is. The answer is wizard, and the definition is because I did magic and I'm a wise man, or considered like a term used such as a computer whiz. But the real actual reason isn't because by definition I'm a wizard. The real reason is because I'm psychic. By standards of normal people. Now, initially I didn't realize what was going on, because I can hear thoughts of people. And I thought everyone could do that, understand what people are thinking. Now, I'm not 100% accurate, but pretty close, 90% accurate. I can hear thoughts. And they've gotten stronger. But they were extremely strong when I was in high school, for whatever reason.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And then it kind of went away, or maybe I wasn't aware of it. And then the other abilities that I realized I have is that I can take just by being around them, I can take their thoughts and their way that they move their body and quickly incorporate that into my body.
Now that's a gift. That's why you're able to do so many different things.
Right, and it makes me,
Yeah.
even a martial artist, a very proficient fighter. I've been in
Yeah.
1,000 fights. I have 4 separate black belts. Why? Because I don't have to get up and take the dance class. Of course, if I did, I'd probably be better. But if
Yeah.
But if I'm dancing at the Emmy Awards, maybe I should have taken a dance class. I'm thinking,
Yeah,
maybe,
Yeah.
if I'm the main dancer among like a bunch of football players, granted they're football players, we're doing martial art, maybe I should have taken a martial art class or, taken a dance class. But I didn't, and it's because there were great dancers at Laksa that I just looked, and even if I don't have to look, I could just be around them and I can pick up their abilities. My children have that too. And then one of my daughters, actually, she can do the same thing about reading thoughts. And then finally, I have the ability to tell people what to do psychically. Because people said I didn't talk much. And the reality is I didn't. I hardly talked. But I can get people to do what I've been thinking in my mind without actually doing it myself, and they'll do exactly what I want them to do. I've trained 50 world karate champions.
Wow. You've been busy.
Yeah. My
Are you sure you're not cloned?
No,
I think
that's after.
I'm almost ready to believe you're cloned, because nobody could be doing all that you're doing. It's like, and then you had to raise kids.
And my two twin daughters.
It's like, when do you have time to do all of this?
So if you're asking me, my two twin daughters are 7-time world karate champions.
Oh my God.
Some of the forms that they do and how they won a world karate championship title, I don't even know it, but by knowing what I want them to do, they can do it without me doing it. Like, I don't demonstrate it because I can't even physically do some of the forms that they have won the championship titles with, including the sword form that Alexis has won the championship title with. That's one of the things I'm coming out with. I'm not doing tarot card reading. I'm not telling what your grandmother wanted to tell you before you died, before she died. I'm not doing that, and I'm not going to tell you what your lottery numbers are so you can go take a vacation. Okay?
Oh, rats. Well, that's what I was really hoping for. Oh my God. No use to me. I'm not doing karate. Or playing football. Or am I into, physics of any kind?
I never, at the time I didn't recognize it fully because I was thinking, why isn't everyone doing this? I don't understand.
Your brain is just, it functions so differently than anybody else. You're like on go. You're like on speed brain. It's like an interesting thing because some people, like ADD people, their energy level is up and up and up, but it's in your brain. Your brain's on full speed all the time. It's like you are constantly like this. And if you can't adjust it, you just kind of take from it, you'll come back, and then you've got it.
Right.
It's like, you like through osmosis, you get it, you process it, and then you'll come back and react it. You know what I mean? It's like it's interesting the way you work like that. But it's kind of similar to an ADD person that is just constantly like this, but they can't focus. You know what I mean? They're all out there in many directions, and they're going full speed.
And I've met those people as well too.
But if you can't focus,
nothing comes to fruition, right?
Yes.
Right.
Whereas you're able to focus, and you're moving at high speed. It's like that's kind of what it is. But your ability to not be able to go back and have to drill it as long as somebody else. You know what I mean?
That gave me
because you can do that in your head with dance. You can go over in your head and you can make it happen in your head, and then you go and perform it, and it's like a workout. You know what I mean? It's like even when you hurt a leg, you work your other leg because it transfers. It's like it's a strange thing, but your brain's doing that. It's like weird. So somehow it's still moving and still processing, whether you're aware of it or not. You just have this gift of the way you move. And I don't know, maybe it has to do with the way your mom brought you up, that you were free to explore that, because your sister doesn't have this at all.
Right.
Your sister is totally different. Why are you this way and your sister's totally different? It's like strange. It's like, where does this come from?
Well, and Ashley's book does talk about my relationship with my mother. Actually, the book's called Ken Hayashi and the Magic Academy. Book 1, The Boy and the Witch, the witch, right? So she taught me some certain things, which was honing my skills. As they were happening, I cared not to share this, because even sharing it now, most of you are just already throwing this into the bandwagon, oh, this guy must be crazy. And if you look at what I've done in the past, just as a person, as a grown-up, like, okay, I'm an author, I've worked for 2 presidential administrations, I have 4 children, I've trained 50 world karate champions, and on top of that, I'm a consultant, business consultant to Kevin Harrington from the Shark Tank new company on mindset for entrepreneurship. So that's just my current life. Why did I didn't want to talk about my previous life when I was 25 years ago? Because number one's going to believe that I did all those things, and I wasn't trying to break into the entertainment industry. I just thought it was fun.
That's what blows me away. You have this great gift, and you just let it go.
Yeah.
That's to walk away. It's like I can't comprehend that how you were given this great gift, and you have this know-how, but yet you just walked away and started something different.
Yeah.
It was like, wow.
Well, I'm done. I was like, okay, that's cool. I went, oh,
I know.
Yeah.
I just find that so hard to believe.
Yeah. It was just something.
And
I'm coming back now, 25 years later, and I've got kids, and
You're revisiting it.
I'm revisiting this now. I'm not going to get back into magic, so I'm not doing a show in Vegas. I'm not going to show, and I'm not going to.
You would.
Yeah,
Bring back Denise.
And I'm not going to say, and your card is. I go, you know what? Magicians, and nothing against magicians, okay? But as Houdini said, magicians are simply actors playing the part that they have supernatural abilities. Okay, that's what Houdini said, and he himself was trying to talk to his mother. I kept this part a secret because I didn't want to be thrown into that category of those weirdos reading tarot card reading and doing stuff like that. There's no point. No one's going to believe you, so I didn't care. And so it's like there's no point in trying to convince the world. I'm not in entertainment, and I needed to move on in life. I became an entrepreneur. I wanted to raise my children, not being looked at in a strange way. So I just kept it a secret. 25 years later, I decided to just come out and just say, hey, you know what? If you don't want to believe me, I don't care. I'm telling you, I can understand, I could hear things. I'm not 100% accurate, but I could hear people talking. One of my daughters has that exact same ability. In people in other rooms, could name songs, could recite songs that she's never heard before just because I know them, so she's very connected with me. So these are a couple of things. The other things is when I turned 40, they've gotten stronger. When I turned 40...
You're 40 now?
No, I'm 43 now.
Oh. Well, 43?
Yeah.
You still look 18 to me.
Oh,
Oh my God, 43?
yeah, 43, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You still have a lot ahead of you.
Yes. I look forward to it. I look forward to it. When I turned 40, I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but my mom passed away.
I remember.
Yeah, she had passed away. But at 40, I started to hear her. And so I'm talking to her now. But now I'm talking to her. And the closest thing I can say is before you guys, I gotta turn this YouTube channel off, this is going too far, is there's a lot of fathers out there, and I was raised by my single mom. A lot of fathers out there that will discipline their child, and the first thing they say is, "Oh my God, I sound like my father." Okay, so you guys know what I'm talking about, kind of. I was raised by my mom. She was an executive at Mitsubishi. She was running a company, division of Mitsubishi. 60 people that was working for her while she was raising me and my sister. And I was doing all this stuff. And then she had unfortunately passed away at time she was 39 from cancer. Just passed away. I was 21. But I was very close to her.
Your mother passed away at 39?
39, yeah. And she looked younger than me.
Oh, your mother was phenomenal.
So so people had no idea she was passed.
I didn't know she passed away from cancer.
Yes, that's what happened. Yeah. So what had happened with all that was at 40, I don't know how something had happened, but I started to hear some things. And I'm going, I'm not going crazy here, am I? But I had already, that's the first logical thing to think. Like, am I hearing voices in my head? But I decided I had to key in on that, and I could hear her more and more. And I'll have another video of explaining how I'm able to hone in on that, and I'll probably do that a little later, where it has to do with, think of this as this, you have 2 cell phones, okay, 2 cell phones. If you watch a YouTube video on one cell phone, right, you watch one YouTube video on one cell phone, and you can watch the same video on the same video on the other cell phone, right? But if you take one cell phone and you throw it in the trash, or you run over it with the car and it gets destroyed, you can still play this YouTube video on the other cell phone, right? Because it's coming from the satellite.
Yeah.
Okay. If you understand what I'm saying there is a theory that the human brain, is actually a receiver of information that's out there. Just kind of like a YouTube video that you see on your cell phone, or every time you make a phone call or a text. That's a theory. If that theory is true, which I'm agreeing with it, if that's true, then just because you destroy one cell phone doesn't mean that video you can't watch it on another cell phone. So what has happened when I became 40, maybe because biologically or genetically or whatever, I've come closer to the age that my mom was at her age, raising 2 teenage kids, that I've gotten older and my head tuned in to that YouTube channel almost. And I could hear what she was hearing at the time. And that's probably the closest logical way to explain it today with the technology that you're holding in your hand right now as you're probably watching this video. And, I can go into more theories behind that, but that's just so you don't throw me off into the crazy realm. But I am talking to the dead, one dead person. I can talk to others if I choose to. I choose not to, though.
But don't you think that some of this is, you know your mother so well, and you were connected, that you know how she thinks.
Yes.
You know how she thinks, you know how she would react. So in your brain, you are, because you are a part of her anyway.
Yes.
So when you talk to her, it is like I already know what the answer are to a lot of people. I already know what your answer is going to be before I even ask a question. So why ask the question?
Right.
So I'm talking to myself, so when parents, that energy is still in your head,
right,
and you're maybe untapping it. And so now you are having conversations because your mother doesn't even have to be here, because you already know her and she's already in your brain someplace. And it's like she's coming alive again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you already know her so well.
And that answer right here, that explanation perfectly explains that as well. That's just that. But for the rest of the people that hear this for the first time will say, well, no, that's not possible. How could you be talking to your mother? What you just explained is correct, and how I explained it is also how I feel.
Well, there may be an energy field out there that was left. You never, there's so many possibilities,
right,
but the idea of it is that you are tapped into something. Whether you're tapped into your own brain or tapped into an energy field or something, you're tapping into it. So it's like, in a way, you're not alone. It's kind of like God, because when God's in your life, you're tapping in to the way God is, and it's the same thing because it's everywhere. So if matter doesn't, it just changes form. So she left an imprint here.
An imprint, right.
And the imprint is in your brain, and you're processing it and making it come alive.
Yes.
And isn't that beautiful that somebody who's dead made such an imprint in your brain that you were so busy with life and changing directions? Do you know what's really funny? I stopped doing all the show routines when my mother died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just stopped doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were there at the 50th anniversary, and they were
Yeah.
doing a memorial to
Yeah.
her. Did she pass away in 2016 or
No, 2001,
2001?
right before 9/11.
9/11. But they continued on the same legacy.
Yeah.
And that was the
Yeah.
50th anniversary.
Because my ex-sister-in-law runs it.
Right.
So
right.
she runs it. So, but it's funny how I stopped doing things when my mother died. And maybe somewhere in there, you stopped, and then now you're coming back to that energy. You know what I mean?
Yes, that could,
So you're more mature, you've got something under your belt, and then you're coming back reliving it. And who was there when you relived all this? Your mother.
my mother, right.
Yeah,
right.
so your mother can be speaking to you because you know her so well. You know how she thought. You know, it's like having a conversation. And isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it's like having a conversation with somebody. Yeah, and
You're having a conversation with her
10 years ago, I couldn't. It's like
because
okay,
you were not in that space.
It's like she
but
passed away. a
the
long time ago,
imprint
right?
is in you.
Right.
It's in your thoughts, your emotions, your history.
Mhm.
All of that, she imprinted you. And I think that's kind of cool because she was your biggest fan.
Yes.
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
And
right.
when you get older, you were giving out to your children. And there's nobody that is giving you what you had when you were younger. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your
right.
mom was your biggest fan in life. My mom was my biggest fan in life.
Right.
So when my mom died, I didn't have that, my fan.
Right. Right.
So I stopped because everybody needs that encouragement. And
Right.
maybe you're embarking on something else and forgot that big fan of yours is what you need in life.
Yes.
And you are kind of tapping into it
Yes.
because it was so positive in your life. She believed in you so much, imparted so much, and as a father, you still need encouragement.
Mhm.
You still need that. You're giving it to all your kids, but you know what I've learned in life? Balance is everything. If you give out and don't receive, then you become drained.
Yes.
If you just received, you become self-centered.
Right. Right.
And so your balance, when you were younger, it's self-centered because you're receiving. You became a father, you're giving, and you need to be in this state of balance.
Wow.
And your mother has come back in those thoughts and those energies to be your cheerleader, so you will be in balance, because when you're in balance, you will make wise decisions. So I understand
Wow.
that.
Wow.
And you are seeking that. You're unbalanced. You're giving too much to your kids. Too much. And you have a lot. I gave too much to drill team. So
Right.
much to drill team.
Right.
That I will never ever regret any I gave to my kids and drill team. That's where I gave it to. But I would like to be in balance.
Right.
I would like a cheerleader.
So we kind of went through the same journey.
Yes.
I was giving all to the karate studio.
Everybody
Down in
give-
San Diego, just volunteering myself.
You're giving out.
Yeah,
But
and I
you-
loved it. Absolutely loved it.
doesn't mean you don't love it.
Yeah,
But it's going to drain the essence of you.
Mhm.
Your soul, your spirit will be drained because things have to be in balance. That's why you have to have a cheerleader.
Mhm.
And your mother's thoughts and energies are coming back.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So maybe you're going in another direction, and maybe reliving all of this is bringing your mother back into your life. Because you get so busy, you put them on the back burner.
Right.
You know, you don't think about your mother because you're busy with your kids.
Right. Yes.
And you have time now to bring all of the wisdom, all of the love, all of the energy. Because you know what you can see now? My mom gave me a lot of energy. Your mom put a lot of energy into you.
Yes.
God, that's cheerleading. That's love. That's caring.
Right.
And it may be something that you need now. So
Yes.
you can explore this, whatever you've tapped into, whether it's your own energy and you're creating this, or it's the imprint that she left out here in the world and you're able to tap into it. It doesn't make any difference why, but it's here, and that's a blessing to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this is something good.
Yes. Oh,
Take
okay.
all the positive.
Right.
Because
right.
usually when you look back, you want to remember all the positive. Because in training children, as you well know, there has to be discipline. There has to be correction. There has to be consequences. And we don't like any of that in life.
Mm-hmm.
But you, in your mind, can take all the good. You can remove all of that
Mm-hmm.
that makes you, uneasy with parents because they have to discipline you.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all have waywardness in us, and you can just take the good, all that good, and you can go, what would my mom do
Right.
right now? What would my mom tell me to do? What would my mom like to say to me?
Right.
And that to me is pretty cool.
I had a big decision that I had to make on Monday, last Monday, and I said, hey, I'm gonna ask my mom, and
Yeah.
I had to. Because the thing is this, she knows everything that's going on, so I don't even have to tell her. I'm like, there's no hiding anything anymore. So.
Because people inside,
Uh-huh.
whoever they are, they react. It's like, I am who I am. You know what I mean? If you are who you are, you have finally come into your own, you know your code. Everybody has a code. You know your mom's code. You know how she would respond. You know she has some wisdom because she guided you in some pretty good ways. So you're tapping into her wisdom, her code. I have a code now. You know what? So everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like people who don't have a code are lost.
Right.
Totally lost souls.
Doing whatever.
Whatever.
Comes up, yeah.
Hey, whatever. I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
And I've met them.
Mm.
And I'm very sad for them. And no matter how much I try, I can't help them or change them. They're on a road to death. I'm on a road to life. I'm dying. I'm getting older. But they're on the road to death. And I will be
Their
the way-
spirit is just
Their spirit is dying, and
yeah.
I can't do anything.
Right.
Because they own, this is the difference, some people own their pain so much that it becomes a part of them. And in order to grow and get out of it, they have to let go of the pain. And that pain has been their go-to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they can't let go of the pain to move forward in life. You have managed to block any pain and just move forward. So we can't relate. You and I both would have a hard time relating to somebody who's depressed and stays home every day and watch TV.
Absolutely.
We're going, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah, there's a life out there. Go
There's a
go
life.
take it.
Yeah, but
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
not personally involved with somebody like that. And
Mm.
what they do is they suck you and drain you, and you come down here.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make any difference if you're involved with somebody like that or there's something that's disturbing in you. We all are having to overcome adversity. Everybody is you need adversity in your life because otherwise you will not make your code. You won't know who you are. The adversity stares you in the face and makes you who you are. So you've had challenges with your kids, challenges with work, challenges with your marriage, challenge. They're all adversities, and you're coming together, and you need your mom in your life to help guide you. You do, because nobody in life did what she did. She knows you, you know her, so wherever it comes from,
Right.
that's beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
And just so you know, she wasn't talking to you at all out there. She was only talking just to me and not to you. Words of wisdom, people. Listen to somebody that is a great wizard, in not the metaphorical, but a wizard. Just listen
The
to
wise.
The wise. Just, I'm listening and going, wow. I'm soaking up this information. You always want to keep learning. As soon as a lot of you people out there, I know everything. No. You shut off your brain. You're exactly what she's talking about. You're dying. You're not growing. And you want to grow.
I have the same attitude.
Yeah.
It's like I'm dancing.
Yes.
I'm 67 years old, and I'm competing, I'm dancing, I'm wearing all of this stuff. I've had 5 surgeries.
And everyone says the same thing about her. Like, you don't age.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, they're dancing. I saw the pictures. Like that, all that.
But I mean, but it's the mentality.
Yeah.
I had to experience this. And
Yeah.
the reason that I have wisdom is because I've had a lot of adversity.
Uh-huh.
It'd be like you having a child who doesn't want to do anything. To be around a child who doesn't want to do anything, just wants to watch TV all day, would break your heart.
Right.
You have so much to give, so much to impart, and they want to watch TV all day. You'd go, first of all, you know what I mean?
Right.
It would affect you.
Yes.
You know, and so when I'm around and I'm with people, I got that lesson that I just learned. Is that sometimes you have to walk away.
Yes.
How do you walk away from your child?
Right. Well, actually,
You know what I mean?
there's people that I love that are family members, and this is one theory talk about is love your family members. You know, love them, but you don't have to be. They don't have to be your friends. Like they don't have to be the people you spend time with. Especially like Miss Crawford just said, if they're dragging you down or they're just pulling you down.
But it's so hard because you love them and you're going, I want to show you a new direction.
Right.
I want to show you life. I want to show you all this. And so I understand, you know, you're a high achiever. You're a high achiever and you've been blessed with kids that you can impart your gifts to. What if you had a kid who said no? What if my ex-husband had a child who couldn't do sports? He wouldn't have a relationship with him.
Right.
You know, but these are the things where adversity comes in to gain more love, more patience, you know, more compassion. These are the greater gifts. And kids in your life are there to give you more of that. You know, so there's certain gifts of wisdom and talent and drive and all of those. That's one stage of your life. But you can't, the other one is enriching your soul. This is where you can be alone and be happy with yourself because you like who you've become, you know, or you're so miserable that you can't be around anybody else. You know, there's two different directions to go in, you know, so. And I'm going to hate to do this because it's getting time.
Okay. Well, I wanted to...
I hope we got something.
This is fantastic. Better than I expected, completely. I don't know how everything's going to turn out. We got to really thank Ms. Kay Crawford here, being here, sharing her wisdom of all the experiences that she has gone through herself. She's definitely giving me a lot of things to think about. I got to share with you something that was very private, very secret for a very long time. Now it's open. It's out. We'll see how people react to that. Okay, but thank you very much for being here.
Oh, I always enjoy seeing you.
Interview.
Man of life.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Okay. Bye.